In a city where social contrasts are visible at every corner, Clara, a black woman in her 30s, walks with determination toward a luxury jewelry store nestled in the heart of an upscale neighborhood. Her attire, simple yet elegant, contrasts sharply with the opulence of the display windows, glittering in the sunlight. Each showcased piece seems to tell a story of wealth and glamour, but for Clara, this moment is far more than just a transaction. 4 months, she has been saving, setting aside a portion of her paycheck whenever possible. This gesture of love toward Javier, her partner, is the result of deep reflection. Clara wants to surprise him with an engagement ring, a symbol of their commitment and a testament to her profound love for him. The thought of seeing him open the small velvet box and discover the ring fills her with joy. She pushes open the boutique's door, an elegant chime announcing her arrival. Inside, everything exudes wealth: sparkling showcases, crystal chandeliers, and impeccably sophisticated sales staff. Clara feels a twinge of intimidation but holds her head high, aware of the priceless value of her love, far beyond anything on display around her. A saleswoman, blonde, elegant, and exuding a cold politeness, approaches her, quickly scanning Clara from head to toe. With thinly veiled condescension, she asks in a hushed tone, "May I help you, miss?" Clara, undeterred, gently explains that she's looking for an engagement ring for her partner. The saleswoman hesitates briefly before, with a mechanical smile, presenting a few modest options. But Clara already knows what she wants. She points to a sparkling ring in another case, a more expensive piece she had seen on the boutique's website weeks earlier. "Oh, that one." The saleswoman appears surprised, almost incredulous. "It's quite expensive, you know." Clara, her heart pounding, doesn't waver. "Yes, I know. I want it." Laura, the blonde saleswoman with the icy smile, lets out a nervous little laugh at Clara's firm response. Unconscious biases flood her mind, judging Clara solely based on her appearance. Her simple clothing, her calm demeanor, and above all, her skin color, all fed into a tacit certainty: this customer couldn't possibly be serious, let alone afford such a ring. Yet Laura masks her thoughts behind a faint nod and moves toward the display case to retrieve the ring Clara desires. Her movements are precise, but her demeanor betrays a subtle, condescending pity. "I'll show it to you up close," she says in a cold voice, placing the ring in front of Clara on the counter. Clara examines the ring closely, a dazzling piece, finely adorned with diamonds that glimmer under the boutique's lights. It is exactly what she wants to give Javier. A wave of emotion washes over her, but she suppresses it, aware that here, every glance feels like an appraisal. As she studies the ring, she feels Laura's gaze bearing down on her, almost like a weight. The saleswoman seems impatient, her smile now strained, her movements brusque, as if expecting Clara to change her mind and realize she couldn't afford such a purchase. But Clara doesn't give her that satisfaction. She looks up at Laura, her expression calm. "It's perfect. I'll take it," she declares, pulling out her wallet, ready to pay. Laura's surprise is evident, though she tries to hide it. Despite her biases, she had subconsciously hoped the customer would back out, unable to withstand the subtle humiliation. Yet Clara remains unflappable, her composure unnerving the saleswoman. Stung by her own wounded pride, Laura doesn't relent. She lets out a barely concealed sigh and forces a tighter smile. "Listen, miss, I understand you like this ring, but perhaps you should start with something more reasonable," she says, gesturing toward a case of much simpler, almost plain rings compared to the one Clara has chosen. Though shocked, Clara doesn't let her anger show. She takes a deep breath, channeling the rising frustration. This is a pivotal moment, not just for buying the ring but for herself. She recalls every instant she had saved, every sacrifice made. She wouldn't let this woman reduce her to appearances or presumed means. "I said I'll take that ring," Clara repeats calmly, though each word carries more weight than the last. But Laura doesn't back down. "Oh, but I wouldn't want you to put yourself in a difficult situation. Perhaps it would be wiser to come back when you have a proper budget," Laura says, punctuating her remark with a smug laugh, as though believing she was doing Clara a favor. The laugh rings in Clara's ears like an alarm. The disdain is palpable, making her feel invisible, reduced to outdated stereotypes. A heavy silence fills the room. Other customers, previously engrossed in their own shopping, now glance over, some with discomfort, others with unhealthy curiosity. Clara, true to herself, resists the urge to respond with anger. She meets Laura's gaze, speaking firmly, never raising her voice. "I came here today to make an important purchase. Neither you nor anyone else will decide what I can or cannot afford. Now, if you're unwilling to assist me properly, I'd like to speak with someone else." Clara's candor leaves Laura momentarily stunned, though she quickly recovers, masking her discomfort behind an even more strained smile. "Very well," she replies curtly, standing upright. "I'll call one of my colleagues." As Laura turns to fetch a colleague, the boutique's door chime rings again. A man enters, impeccably dressed in a tailored suit, followed by two colleagues. His presence exudes natural confidence, immediately drawing the attention of the room. Clara, startled, recognizes him instantly. It's Javier, her partner. Javier approached her with a warm smile on his face. He had guessed her intentions and wanted to join her to experience this moment together. Clara felt a surge of happiness and relief at his presence. Her sacrifices, her hesitations, all seemed to fade away as she saw the man she loved come to support her. Laura, observing the scene, quickly realized that Clara wasn't just any customer. Her demeanor changed instantly. The cold and smug smile she had displayed earlier transformed into an awkward, almost apologetic one. She stammered, visibly unsettled. I'm sorry about earlier. I didn't mean to. I didn't know that." Clara, standing tall beside Javier, didn't need to respond immediately. It was Javier who spoke, his usual calmness tinged with a subtle authority as he addressed Laura more than Clara. "Is everything going well, Clara?" he asked softly. After exchanging a knowing glance with Clara, Javier turned back to Laura. "I'd like to see the other rings you neglected to show Clara, please," he said with an icy politeness, firm enough to make Laura grasp the unfairness of her behavior. The saleswoman, now visibly uncomfortable, hurried to retrieve several cases she hadn't deemed fit to show Clara earlier. Each box revealed rings more exquisite than the last, adorned with dazzling diamonds and elegant designs. Laura no longer displayed her earlier condescension. Instead, her movements were marked by a mix of guilt and embarrassment. Clara watched silently as Javier took the lead, but she didn't feel humiliated or ashamed. On the contrary, she felt proud of the calm and dignified way they were handling the situation. Javier made it clear, without aggression, that Laura's judgment based on appearances was not only wrong but indicative of a deeper issue. Clara's appearance has nothing to do with her ability to buy a valuable piece of jewelry, Javier continued in a measured tone. What you did today was judge someone without knowing their story. You should understand that a customer isn't defined by their clothes but by their determination. Laura lowered her gaze, her face flushing with shame, and nodded in acknowledgement. "You're right. I'm truly sorry," she murmured. She then worked to make amends, presenting the rings with greater care and apologizing repeatedly. Clara browsed through the selection, but one ring in particular caught her attention. It was simple yet elegant, adorned with a single carefully cut diamond. It wasn't the most extravagant ring, but it perfectly symbolized the pure and sincere love she shared with Javier. She pointed to it. "This one," she said with a soft smile. "It's perfect." Laura, now more respectful, carefully took the ring from the display and handed it to Clara. This time, there was no judgment, no hesitation. Clara held the ring between her fingers, admiring its beauty, before handing it to Javier, who smiled tenderly. "It's a symbol of our love," Clara said, her eyes meeting Javier's. He nodded gently and pulled out his wallet to finalize the purchase. As they left the boutique, Clara and Javier walked side by side, sunlight warming their faces. They discussed the incident, not with bitterness but with the wisdom of two people who had overcome far greater challenges. "You know, the prejudices people carry are often heavier for them than for those they target," Clara reflected on the events. "It's incredible how wrong they can be about someone just because of their appearance." Javier nodded thoughtfully. "Yes, but what matters is that we know who we are. No one else can define our worth. They paused for a moment, looking into each other's eyes. And as long as we have our love, Clara added, none of that can touch us. Javier smiled and wrapped his arms around her. Exactly. And that's what makes us stronger. Together, they walked into the future, united not only by their love, but also by a deep understanding of life's challenges and the certainty that they could overcome them hand in hand. And so, dear listeners, this is the touching story of Clara and Javier, a couple who faced prejudice with calm and dignity. This story reminds us that appearances can be deceiving, but most importantly, that the strength of love and self-confidence are powerful tools against injustice. Clara stayed true to her values despite humiliation, and together with Javier, they proved that love and solidarity can triumph over stereotypes.